The Detroit Lions just got great news on multiple fronts. Let's talk about it. My name is Aaron, and I'm a part of the NFC North Guys. On the daily, we're pushing out NFC North content, so don't miss out. All you got to do, hit the subscribe button, notification bell, and hey, let's get those likes pumped up. Hit the like button for goodness sakes. Today, what we got to talk about first and foremost is jumping to the big victory against the Bears down in Chicago, which I witnessed with my own two eyes. We'll jump into that as well. What are some of the key issues the Lions know they have to deal with going into the offseason? Some big moves they're most likely going to make, as well as about the roster. And then we're going to jump into the schedule for the 2026 season. So there's a lot of things to be happy about. I know off the bat, it sucks we're not in the playoffs. It does. A couple things go differently. A couple calls go differently. And they're right there. And you better believe they are fighting. But they're not. And you better believe in 2026, they are going to change that. But let's start off with the Bears game. We jump into that game, final score 19-16. I was right in the end zone where Jake Bates hit the game-winning field goal. It was beautiful. And I want to say this before I even talk about the Lions. The Bears looked horrendous offensively. They know how depleted this secondary was for the Lions. And they went into the game. And a lot of people went into the game thinking this was it. This was the game. Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears were going to get past 4,000 passing yards or hit that mark for the first time ever in franchise history. Again, Chicago has gotten a Pope before it has gotten a quarterback that has thrown for at least 4,000 yards. But the Lions said, nay, we are going to fight. We are going to hustle. We're going to do everything we can to prevent that. And literally all Caleb Williams did was naked bootleg, throw it to Colston Loveland, and that was pretty much it. That was his whole game. That was all Ben Johnson's playing calling was. When it comes down to it, they were atrocious. Now, yes, there were some issues on the Lions side, multiple times in the red zone, not getting a touchdown, having to settle for field goals. Frustrating. That game could have been absolute blowout like the first one was, but it wasn't. But still, they got the win. So some good things we can get out of that. Lions held the Bears and Caleb Williams from getting the 4,000 yard mark as well. You have some big time players leaving on a high note, especially Amon-Ra going out, literally 11 receptions, 139 yards, just doing his thing as well. We look at the defensive side of the ball. It was great to see Aiden Hutchinson get a sack. I know that was the lone sack, but there was other times they should have had some, but they didn't. But again, that's going to go into later when we talk about, hey, what are some needs for this team? But regardless, a win is a win. It's great going into the offseason with a W. And let's be honest, the Lions might get to Cancun right now, but the Bears are going to be there the following week because I have a feeling the Packers unfortunately are going to beat them. And I know this is an NFC North channel, but again, I am biased towards the Lions. You never know. If the Bears show up like they did against like the Eagles, yeah, they have a shot. They do. But if they show up like they did yesterday or 2 days ago, my fault, against the Lions, they're packing their bags quick. So again, comment below. What were your thoughts on the game? As I said, it was great being there. I was cold. Bears fans were actually very nice to me. I was wearing my Jake Bates jersey. That's why it's not hanging up. But I enjoyed it. Soldier Field, great place. It's going to be great when they're playing in Gary, Indiana. So next up, we jump into Jake Bates. So a lot of practice squad people, a lot of guys were retained by the Patriots, by the Lions. They were re-signed. And one person that was not signed, but they project will make an announcement down the road to a longer contract extension is Jake Bates. And I think there's times this season that people were like, oh, Jake Bates, oh, he was frustrating. But we also need to jump into his stats. And then we need to jump into the words of some of the coaches to really settle us down when it comes to Jake Bates. Because one, I love him. Obviously, I got the man's jersey. This year, obviously, just under 80% field goal percentage, 27 and 34. And his issue was from 50 yards plus. So missing 5 from 50 plus and then 2 from 40 to 49. He did crank a 59-yarder. Darn near perfect on extra points, missing 2. But still, the question becomes, he's a young guy. We know he's talented. We know he has a leg. Sure, he can be frustrating at times. I think, again, but is it worth sending him packing? And I think the answer is no. And I know the Lions believe the same thing. This is what they said, quote, and Dan Phipp also indicated, hey, that they would be idiots not to retain him. So let me say this. Number one, just look at the big picture. I mean, do you have a good player or not? I mean, we clearly do. We have a very, very good player. If you put him on the streets, there would be a bunch of teams claiming him right away. And the truth is, we'd have a really hard time finding a guy even near the same player as him. So again, common sense, do not get rid of Jake Bates. And I know they will. I know some people, and I know some of you are like, oh, I never wanted him to. And that's great. But I know there are others. There's a smaller contingency of people that were like, okay, see you later, Jake Bates. No, he'll be fine. Again, there's a lot of issues on the Lions this year. I don't think Jake Bates was one of them. Sure, he could have made some more field goals, but I think that, again, that will be fixed. You better believe the Lions have a chip on their shoulder going into the 2026 season, and they are going to make some changes. But again, I don't think Jake Bates is the problem. Comment below. Tell me what you think about that. If he is or not, I assume most of you will agree with me. But as we talk about the Lions going into the offseason, what we need to talk about is the areas of focus, what needs to be fixed. And again, yes, we got some good news getting the Bears win going into the offseason. Yes, we got some good news. Jake Bates going to be retained as a kicker. But I think even better news is the fact that Brad Holmes, we've seen him work. We've seen what he can do. We've seen his passion. And you better believe he is going to spend our draft capital on players that are worthwhile to help make an immediate impact for this team. Specifically, as I have said, we need someone to help Aiden Hutchinson create pressure. We do. That's one of the biggest ones. We need depth pieces. Specifically, we look at the secondary is a huge thing, and then as well, just we need to figure out some stuff on the offensive line. So I think those are the big areas of focus, specifically on that defensive side of the ball. Again, there was times this year I feel like we couldn't stop a leaky faucet, and it was frustrating, and it made me sick. So you better believe Brad Holmes and company will figure this out. They will. I've had so many people come up to me and say, oh, it looks like the Lions' reign is over. No, I don't believe it is. I don't believe it is. Not with the people in charge, not with the leaders on this team. It ain't over. It ain't over. And again, think of it this way. The Lions turn a couple of those games into wins. They don't get swept by the Vikings. They don't get swept by the Packers. They split those. It's a much different story. It's not like they were the Chiefs and they looked like absolute trash and just sank into the abyss, losing to the Raiders. Nah, not the Lions. So comment below. Tell me what you think. Biggest need for the Lions moving into the offseason. But I truly believe, and I have the most confidence in Brad Holmes and company figuring this out going into the next season. So comment below. Last but not least, some other great news. We look at the schedule opponents for the 2026 season. And non-divisional opponents, you have the Saints. We'll see how good they are. You have Tampa Bay. I do think they'll have a chip on their shoulder this upcoming year, but not ideal. The Jets, the Titans, the Giants, and then as well Atlanta, Carolina, Miami, Arizona. This schedule, already looking at it, based on this year, is incredibly easier. Incredibly easier. So again, they go into this 2026 season. They're going to reload. They're going to figure some things out. And you better believe they're going to be on fire to prove people wrong. Prove people wrong. What are your thoughts? Comment below. I love the schedule. It'll be fun. And there's some good games on there. They play the Patriots, who won the AFC East. As well, they play Buffalo, which is a great game. And so I think it's going to be fun. What do you think? Would love to hear from you. Comment below. Go Lions. Hit the sub button. We'll talk later. Peace.